Minecraft is a game that once revolutionized the industry and captivated millions, but over the years, many players have lost interest. Updates have become controversial and, I'd even say, unnecessary. Take the 1.21 update, for example. It introduced a new structure, the Trial Chamber. Sure, it's a decent addition with new mechanics for spawners and loot distribution via keys, but was this what Minecraft really needed at this point? Was this what the fans were asking for? Considering that this update took an entire year to develop, which is a long time, not much was actually added, and players are simply losing interest. But is it possible to bring Minecraft back to its former greatness? Let's look at how Mojang used to develop updates. Starting with the Aquatic update, they set a high standard for quality, attracting a flood of new players. This update was massive, exciting, and completely overhauled the underwater world, turning it from an empty space into a lively, vibrant ecosystem. New mobs, structures, and water physics that allowed it to flow through certain blocks made the game feel fresh. A year later, Mojang released another banger, the Village and Pillage update. Villagers were completely reworked, with new village types, professions, and even enemies. The Illagers, who would raid villages, bamboo, new mobs, and many other additions made this update feel alive. 8 months later, the Buzzy Bees update arrived. While it didn't add much in terms of content, it focused on fixing major issues from previous updates, improving optimization, and rewriting parts of the game's code. To make it more than just a technical update, Mojang added bees. 6 months later, and just over a year after Village and Pillage, we got what is arguably the best update in Minecraft history, the Nether update. This was a game changer. The Nether was completely transformed with new biomes, the replacement of zombie pigmen with piglins, and the introduction of hoglins and striders. Netherite became the strongest material, surpassing diamonds. At this point, update quality was at an all-time high, bringing in new players and keeping veterans engaged. A year later, Caves and Cliffs arrived, an update so massive it had to be split into 2 parts. The first part laid the groundwork, adding cave biomes, new mobs like axolotls, glow squids, and goats, as well as copper. Ore generation changed, raw materials dropped instead of whole blocks. Powder snow and candles were also introduced. 6 months later, the second part completely overhauled world generation. Just compare before and after, world height more than doubled. Caves became vast and exciting to explore instead of small and repetitive. The community was eager for more, but Mojang had set the bar so high that something had to go wrong. The turning point was the Wild update. After all the previous updates, players were expecting an end update, similar to what was done with the Nether. After all, the end was the last dimension that hadn't been reworked, but Mojang had other plans. They released one of the strangest updates in Minecraft history. Wanting to introduce horror elements, they added the Warden, a mob nearly impossible to defeat in a normal fight. It wasn't a bad update, but it wasn't what players wanted. Still, many held out hope that the end update would be next. A year later, Trails and Tales was released, and this was the moment I really started to question Mojang's decisions. Why were they making updates nobody asked for? Sure, the new cherry blossom biome was beautiful, but that was about it. Archaeology was added, but hardly anyone used it. The Sniffer, a new mob, was made practically useless. You had to hatch it from eggs found via archaeology in ocean ruins. Why go through all that effort for something so pointless? And then another year passed, bringing Trial Chambers, a new structure, and that's it. That's all Mojang added in a whole year. Let's not forget that the last major overhaul was almost 4 years ago. That's an insanely long time. Many players have already left Minecraft because there hasn't been an update compelling enough to bring them back. The recent updates aren't just boring, they feel unnecessary, even for Minecraft itself. For example, the newly introduced Pale Garden biome with its creaking mob. But why? What purpose does it serve for the average player? Absolutely nothing. Harvesting its heart gives no real benefit. And that's the core problem with modern Minecraft updates. They lack purpose. They don't attract new players, nor do they bring back veterans. They just get released, one after another, adding little of real value. Another major problem with Mojang is how they handle update announcements. On paper, transparency is good. It shows they care about fan feedback. But the issue is, they don't actually listen to what players want. For years, fans have been begging for an end update, yet Mojang keeps ignoring these requests. Instead, they spend a year developing something completely uninteresting. Some might argue, Mojang is a small team, they can't do everything at once. But why not hire more developers? This isn't some indie studio running on pure passion. Mojang is backed by Microsoft. They have the resources. Developers also have a habit of announcing features they later fail to deliver, citing time constraints or outright abandoning them. Take Fireflies, for example. Given an entire section at Minecraft Live, they could have added atmosphere to the game. Instead, the idea was shelved for 3 years, only to return as a simple decorative bush. Or the bundle, revealed 3 years ago and only just added in a recent snapshot. How many more features have been lost? The 1.22 presentation was a perfect example. New biome, new mob, new mechanics, new blocks. But let's be honest, after a few days, nobody cared. Nobody talked about it because it was boring. The update hype was dead before it even released. Minecraft's excitement is fading, and Mojang is making it worse by revealing everything too soon. Not only are the updates themselves uninteresting and lacking in content, but they also take an entire year to make. In that time, people's lives change completely, while Mojang spends all that time making something nobody wants. Early update announcements kill the excitement. We see everything 6 months, sometimes even a year in advance, realize it's not for us, and stop caring. That's the problem. Updates no longer feel hyped. In the past, fans eagerly awaited new patches. Now, as soon as the contents are revealed, the wait becomes meaningless. And that's a shame, because I know Mojang can do better. They've proven it before. So, what's my solution? I talked about this in my video, All Updates We Need, but I'll repeat it here. Let's compare Minecraft to another game, Counter-Strike. Valve never announces updates in advance, whether it's a major overhaul or a small patch. Updates drop unexpectedly, leaving players guessing. Will it be a new map, a new weapon, a new operation? Major updates are rare, just like in Minecraft, but the hype is way stronger. Counter-Strike fans actively search for clues, data miners check files daily, and developers tease players with cryptic messages, social media banner changes, and vague reposts. When an update finally drops, it explodes. Everyone is talking about it, streaming it, making videos. But what about Minecraft? Mojang reveals everything months in advance, so when the update finally comes out, it feels like nothing happened. Honestly, I barely even noticed when 1.21 was released because I already knew everything about it. I know not everyone will agree with my take, but I think Mojang should make a bold move. Stop announcing updates early and keep them secret until release. Let players build the hype themselves. Let them speculate. Will it be an end update? Something else? This would make updates feel more valuable. After all, scarcity creates demand. Not only that, but it would also reduce pressure on developers. They wouldn't have to rush or meet expectations they set themselves. Fans would be less critical because no promises were made in advance. After a series of disappointing updates, Minecraft needs one big game-changing update to bring players back. I remember playing Caves and Cliffs with my brother for the first time. Those were unforgettable moments. But now, Mojang has stopped making big updates, focusing on small, forgettable ones instead. And that's a shame, because this game has so much potential. I'm glad that in the new update, they started adding features fans have been asking for a long time. Falling leaves, leaf litter on the ground, mob variants, and fireflies, even if they're just a bush, are all steps in the right direction. These are exactly the kind of additions Minecraft needs right now. If Mojang continues to work in this direction, Minecraft will make a significant leap forward, just as it did with previous major updates.